So I will record. So I believe we have 5 more classes, and yeah, we can just add on whatever many weeks we need to finish off. Does anyone have any thoughts about doing something mad and crazy, like taking some time from a weekend to read some Plato? Because I'm going to sit down and just read through a couple of books of the Republic soon, and I'm going to read the Symposium, just read it through. And I could do some bits really slowly, like the Socrates' speech or something. So if anyone feels like that, we could do some of it together. Because yeah, it often helps to
Weekend, you're
discuss.
saying, Martin, is it? On a weekend?
Yeah, like maybe on a couple of hours on a Saturday afternoon or something, or 7 hours, or but yeah, whatever. Yeah. But I just mentioned that, and I'll email. And if you feel like it, then
Yeah,
The
I'd be
Republic's pretty
very
long.
happy. Oh, sorry, you go first, Andrew.
I was just going to say the Republic's very long, but that's all my only comment. But you go, Chris.
yeah,
Yeah. So the first of all, I make it after tonight. Today's the 29th. I make it 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I make it 6, with the last one being on the 11th of April. But maybe that's wrong. I think that factors in the week off. So it'd be good
Okay.
if somebody
that's
else
good.
could check as a double
Yeah.
check on that.
I'll check what the actual record. I was looking at the Zoom thing, which could be false.
And as for Plato, I'm always happy to do anything with Plato or Aristotle. But like everyone else, I've got my timetable for work and
Yeah.
a couple of other things, so subject to that.
Yeah.
Chris, my calendar agrees with yours. Another 6 after this.
Right. Okay. Well, sorry, wrong button. Okay, well, let's begin our. Oh yeah, obviously I stuffed up all the numbering, and gave a Stephanus page and more to Michael. So yeah, we'll get back to a sensible regime next week. But you already have your lines for next week if we don't get through them, which we won't. And I'll just add to that. So,
Away
Michael,
we go.
89D3.
Ego soi ero o Meno. Nice short sentence. I will tell you, Meno. And the verb's ero, which is the used as the future of Lego, but it comes from aero. So first person singular future. Tomen gar didacton auto enai, epe episteme estin, uk anatithemai, me ukalos legesthai. I might stop there. The verb is uk anatithemai, which is the present middle of anatithemi. And in the middle, it means, as I understand, I don't reject or deny. And there's sort of two accusatives. The tomen gar didacton auta enai is an articular infinitive. It to be teachable. And I translated that it is teachable, I do not deny. And then there's another sort of infinitive after that, meu kalos legesthai, that it was well said or nobly said. And then there's a little conditional sentence in the middle, aper episteme estin, if it really is knowledge. So putting it into idiomatic or partly idiomatic English, I ended up with, for on the one hand, I do not deny that it, namely virtue, is teachable, if it really is knowledge, that is well said.
Can I ask you, Michael, if there are three negatives in that last phrase, how do they work together?
I had to look that up. I should have said when you've got is it a refutation or a denial? The double negative effectively becomes positive.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Rick
So
likes
is
to
this
express the
a
upshot of what is denied.
so is this a triple negative with uk, me, and u?
Well, I don't deny that it was well said.
So it's not a triple negative. So if you just look at the Miro for a second, Chris, the computer, right? So as Michael was saying, like if you have a verb that means deny, and there's a few words that mean things like that, or a verb that's negated, then you can add me u to indicate what it is that you're not doing. But it doesn't negate the first ook. It just says the same, right? So Anna,
So yeah. So
Anna,
let me just ask it this way. Sorry. So the first bit you've got there, I don't deny, and
well,
then
I
because
don't take back. So to
okay,
Sammy,
yeah,
I
I
posit,
don't take
I posit
so
back, I pull back. Yeah.
so I don't pull back, and then in relation to the second bit, the two, the met and the u cancel each other out. So it's a
They
positive.
don't cancel each other out. They say the same.
And literally, is it not or negative negative?
No, it's just you can't translate it into English. Yep. It's an idiom that there are some things you just can't translate. So for example, yeah, no, you just it says the same. So this is what I am not denying. You see what I mean? Like we don't do that in English. We don't repeat the negative before the thing that we're not doing.
Yeah, I haven't had a chance
Yeah.
to check it, but do either of the commentators explain this idiom or not? And if so, how
Black
do they
has a
explain it?
comment. Black simply
Oh,
says
okay.
Greek likes to express the upshot of the denial.
Oh, okay.
And Stedman does too. Stedman does
Okay.
it.
What does
Okay,
he
thank
say?
Well, he says infinitive is used with verbs of denial or hindering, and MAO is expressed positively when the main verb is negative. And he quotes Smythe 2742.
Yeah. Yeah, everyone quotes Smythe. Cites Smythe. Yeah, so it just says the same thing twice. We don't do that. And another example is un. Like sometimes there'll be an anticipatory un telling you soon there's going to be an un, and that'll help you make sense of the tense or the aspect of this present verb because you know you've got a verb coming with an un coming up, and we can't even translate un anyway. So there's just some things that are idiomatic that we just have to understand how they work, and then find a translation rather than a transliteration that still makes sense. Yeah. So I don't take back, and what I'm not taking back is that if it is science, it is teachable. Yeah. So as Michael said, that's an articular infinitive, to anai. So you could say it's being teachable, the it being alto, and the is being anai. But it's articular infinitive.
And the auto refers to arete.
Yes. So again, that we have a neuter, we're referring to virtue as a thing rather than a feminine pronoun.
Go on.
Please.
Horrida uk estin episteme skepsai ean soi docor kotos epistine. The main verb skepsai, and it's the aorist middle imperative of skepto. And it means consider. Look, consider ean soi docor kotos epistine, if I seem to you to doubt or disbelieve reasonably that it is not knowledge. Hoti de uk estin episteme. Podagar moi aper. The verb's aper, the imperative of apon, the second aorist for Lego. For tell me this. A estin didacton hotiun pragma, me monon arete, uk anankaion autu kai didaskalus kai mathatas enai. Now there's no verb in the main clause. I guess there's an estin understood, and the conditional clause, the verb's estin. A hotiun pragma, if any matter at all, estin didacton, is teachable, me monon arete, not only virtue, uk anankaion estin, isn't it necessary? And then we've got a accusative infinitive, both teachers and pupils of it to exist, that there be both pupils and teachers of it. It's a question, isn't it necessary? Is it not necessary that there be both teachers and pupils of it?
Yeah, that's good. And the way, and you've brought out well that we have to, with uk anankaion, we have to put in an esti, right? Is it not a necessity? And that's the main verb, which is missing, and it's frequently missing when you have anankaion and other words like kalon. Is it not uk kalon? Is it not a noble to do such and such? So that's very frequent. But yeah, we have a fairly straightforward if-then clause. A esti, esti. Is it not? In this case, is negated. Uk. Is it not a necessity that there be teachers and students of it? But can you see what he's doing roughly? Which is he's saying, I'm not taking back that it's well said that if it's knowledge, it's teachable. I'm just disputing that it's knowledge. And he's going to say, so a sign of something that's teachable is that there are teachers and students, and then he'll continue.
So Meno says, emoiga doke, I think so. It seems so to me. Ukun tunantion au, hu meta didaskaloi meta metheta aen, kalosan auta e kasdontes, e kasdoimen, me didacton enai. Now the first bit, I think skepsai is understood, repeated. Ukun tunantion au, then again, or therefore further, consider the opposite, consider the converse. And then the who clause, who meta didaskaloi meta mathetai aen, aen is your optative of Amy. And I can't remember who said that the who is equivalent to a tinos, a conditional clause. And unpacking it, if of which neither teachers nor pupils exist, if there are neither teachers or pupils of it, and then the main verb in the then clause is an a kasdoimen, an a kasdoimen colors, and I took the present participle a kasdontes as a sort of further conditional. No, not conditional. Yeah, sort of conditional. A kasdontes, I translated as surmise. Akas dontes auto me didacton enai. If we surmise it is not teachable, akas doimen an colors. Would we surmise reasonably?
Beautifully.
And the eikos doimen is your just present optative, first person plural.
Yeah, that's very good. I'm not sure about if we can get skepsi from D5 though, just because of the intervening sentence.
You need some
And
sort of verb though, don't you?
it could just be
There
similar
is
to an
the opposite
accusative of respect, like just on the other hand or on the contrary.
regarding the opposite.
Yeah, yeah, and
Okay.
yeah,
Regarding
regarding,
the converse.
yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
yeah, on the opposite. You can't say on the opposite hand, but on the other side, on the
Yeah.
yeah, on the opposite, yeah, on the contrary, in turn, that of which there are neither teachers nor students, and you parse the next bit perfectly, which is acas dontes, the participle. In imagining it not to be teachable, would we speculate, imagine
Infer?
beautifully,
Did you
beautifully.
say infer?
No, well, I tend to not say infer because that's too rational. So if you go back to 89D6, where he says, examine whether I seem to you to distrust plausibly, akotos. And yeah, just in Plato, not as a good translation, because a good translation is reasonably, right? I'd try to avoid that just because akotos has that root of akorn, image, and Plato is always distinguishing image from being.
And it's the root of akasdo. Yeah. Yeah.
Right, and that's it shares the same root with akasdor,
Okay.
and the akasia, which becomes one of these affects of the psyche in the Republic and so on. And it's hard to translate it because it doesn't fit any English word particularly well. So plausibly, in a likely manner, And so then when we get down to E2, and the word order again challenges English word order, because the acas dontes, the participle, takes alto, as you said, as its direct object. And then the predicate to that is mer didacton, linked by anai. So imagining that it is not teachable, would we imagine it in a beautiful manner to be ridiculously literal?
Can I just ask about the use of the word kalos in D5 and E2?
Yep.
Is it being used in the sense of being correct or beautiful or noble or what?
I cling too literally to beautifully. And if it was an action, then I'd say nobly, just so that I'm always being consistent. And that's not the best translation if you're writing a literary translation, but just so I know which words I'm using. Whereas correctly, I would use for orthos. Orthotes is correctness. Ortho is to make something stand upright, to make it correct. Yeah, that's how I do it. But obviously, there are plausible alternatives.
And can I just ask a quick one? E1 there, the start of the second phrase, who mete didaskaloi. What's the who doing?
So that's the relative pronoun of
Oh,
which,
right.
yeah.
Okay.
And this is very important in the relative pronoun is very, very important in Greek, more important than English, and it usually misses the antecedent, so you've got to fill it in. So, and it's really helpful when you do fill it in, because then you're having to specify something that you don't otherwise have to specify, and it makes you understand the sentence. So that of which there would neither be this or that, right? So that of which,
Yeah, thank you.
yeah.
So Meno says esti tauta, that's so, these things are. Al arates didaskaloi udakusi soi anai. The verb is udakusi, but literally teachers of virtue do not seem to you to exist, or do teachers of virtue not seem to you to exist? And I think in idiomatic English, don't you think there are teachers of virtue?
Yeah.
And then Socrates, Polakis gun zeton, atines aen, autes didaskaloi, panta udunamai hurain. Now, the main verb is udunamai hurain. I am not able to find. Zeton gun polacus, seeking many times, searching, inquiring many times. And then there's an indirect question, I think, governed by Zeton. Atines aen autes didaskaloi, if there are any teachers of it. Aen, again, is your optative of Amy. And then poion panta, another present participle, doing many things, although I do everything. So I inquire many times, I do everything, whether there are any teachers of it, but I am unable to find any. Go on.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good. But yeah, everyone else, please speak up when there's something we can discuss. But yeah, please.
Kai toi meta polon gazeto, kai tuton malista, hus an oiomai empyrotatus, anai to pragmatos. So the main verb is zeto. Indeed, I search with many people, metapolone, and then still governed by meta, I think, kai tuton, especially those, tuton, a minister, and then a relative clause, hus an oiomai, a first person subjunctive of oimai, whom I would suppose empyrotatus, the most experienced to pragmatos of the matter, to be, especially of those I think would be most experienced in the matter.
Yes, and the way you translate it just then, so we've got two torn. Oops, there's a mistake. Where are we? Two torn. Two missing antecedent. Relative pronoun. Where's my list? 4.
Why couldn't it be just directly governed by meta? Also those, even those.
What's being governed by meta?
Tutor. I inquire with many people, also with those, especially whom I would suppose.
So the way you translated just a second ago, I think I heard this. And of those people, especially those ones whom I suppose to be most experienced in the matter.
Yep.
So he's saying, okay, so I investigate along with many, in the company of many people, and of these, and I take, like you did, I think on one of your translations, like malista tutus, most of all with those whom I take to be, I suppose, to be most experienced in the matter. Again, the missing antecedent of the relative, I think, is helpful to make explicit.
Right. And then we get this weird digression. Kai de kai nun or menon, es kalon, hemin anutos hoda, parakathesdato, or metadormen tes zetesios. Now the main verb is parakathesdeto. Parakathesdeto. And the subject is anutos hoda. Kaide kai nun, and indeed also now Meno, eis kalon. Now that's referring to time, but I don't like saying at the beautiful time. At just the right time, eis kalon. Anutos here has sat down with us, has sat down beside us. And the parakathesdeto is aorist middle, third person singular, of kathesdomai. And then a relative clause, por metadomen, to whom let us give a share, tes zetasios, of this inquiry, of the inquiry. Metadormen, just aorist subjunctive of first person plural of metadidomi. To whom let us give a share of the inquiry.
Yeah, so this is quietly dramatic because Socrates' future, the main accuser of Socrates, the one who had all the political weight, is Anytus. And in the middle of this conversation, he sits down and they have a conversation about virtue. And Socrates is in the middle of trying to, as part of a tactic on the way to something else, in the middle of showing that virtue is not teachable, and he's going to show that Anytus doesn't know what virtue is. And that's exactly what he gets accused of, not recognizing as right the things that the Athenians recognize as right. It's quite extraordinary.
Okay,
but
yeah. Right.
yeah, and so, but just on the grammatical, so hode, so you can see hode, here, tode is the demonstrative pronoun that refers immediately to something present, right? So, and it's usually like hode Creon. So Creon is coming onto the stage in Antigone. Someone says hode, right? This person here he is. And that's the kind of use that this is. Like Anytus here is sitting down by beautiful coincidence, eis kalon. So let's give him a share. Yeah.
Kotos an metadoimen, we would reasonably give him a share.
Yeah, reasonably, I think is the
aorist optative.
yeah. Sorry.
So it's quite plausible, reasonable.
Yeah.
That we give him a share, and then we get a biography. Anutus ga hoda proton men esti patros plusiou to kai sophu and themionos. I might just do that bit. For Anutus here, first of all, on the one hand, literally is of a both rich and wise father, and Themion. So is the son of a father both rich and wise, and Themion. Hos egenatoplusios, uk apotou automatu, udodontos tinos, hos behopnun neosti elephos ta polokratus cremata ismenias hothebios, ala te hautu sophia te samenos kai epimelea. I'll just go that far. So we've got a long relative clause about Anthemion. He's the antecedent of hos, and the verb is agenatop. Hos agenatop plusios, who became wealthy, uk apotou automatu, not by chance. Now the Uda Dontos Tinos, I keep calling him Beetham, but it's Stedman, isn't it? He says that's a genitive absolute.
That
but
seems
I'm not making the same mistake as I made earlier. I read it as governed by apo, and the Uda as a sort of, according to Smythe, not even. U and Uda is not and not even. So not by chance, not even by someone giving it to him.
Yeah, I would take it as a genitive absolute, like nor with, because ude means nor, ude nor, neither nor.
But we got Uda.
Yeah,
And
so that's
according
not
to
really.
Smythe,
Yep.
Uda, the second, the Uda is a sort of not even, an intensifier.
Yes. Yeah. So not this. Well, yeah, but yeah, not even or nor. Um, yeah, I think it is separate, like as in neither did he get it spontaneously. So yeah, by luck, um, nor with someone giving it to him. Yeah. No.
And then we've got a long comparative clause. Hospa hot nun elsti elephos, as or like, the now just recently, and elephos is your perfect passive participle from Lambano. The person who has just now recently received or been given ta cremata Polycrates, the money, the possessions of Polycrates, and then sort of in apposition with ho elephos is Menias the Thebaean, to name him, unlike the head of Asio.
So that is the active participle, right? The a force.
Is it? Okay. Yeah, sorry, perfect participle, not passive. I beg your pardon, yeah.
Yeah, I
Perfect,
think you said
yeah.
perfect. Yeah, it
No,
is.
I
Yeah.
said perfect, but I thought it was passive, but no, it's perfect active participle, yeah. Having got it, having got the possessions of Polycrates is Manias the Thebaean.
Yeah, the one who is just now. So whenever this dialogue is dated, if it's possible to give it one, the one who just now has taken Polycrates' money, i.e., Ismenias, the Theban.
And then we go back to the subject of the relative clause hos. Alek te samanos, which is your aorist middle participle of its katamai, having acquired. Te how to Sophia kai epimelea, by his own wisdom and diligence, perseverance. Keep going.
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
Epeta kai ta alla, uk herpa rephanos, dokon enai, polites, uda oncordes to kai epakthes, alla cosmios kai eustales anea. Now, we're still in the relative clause, aren't we?
So I'm just wondering if
We,
the epeta is picking up the proton in 90A1.
well,
So
there's
first
another
of
epeta further down in B1. We've got epeta teuton.
yeah, so there will be then another then.
Okay.
So we've got to have 3 points. Like first of all,
Okay.
he was he's wealthy but not born into it, etc. Then Kai Ta'ala.
In regard to the other things, sort of accused of a respect.
Yeah.
Born, present participle, seeming, uk, huperephanos enai, not to be arrogant, not to be an arrogant citizen, huperephanos polites, uda oncordes to kai epakthes, neither pompous nor offensive. But I wasn't sure how to fit the takai in with the uda. So neither both pompous and offensive. or just run them together like another Uda?
So he's not arrogant, doesn't seem to be an
He's
arrogant
not an
citizen,
arrogant citizen.
nor
On
does he seem to
Kai
be,
Epicthes.
yeah, puffed up and offensive, oppressive. Yeah. So he's not this, nor is he either of those things.
Alakosmios Kai Eustelezaner, but a well-ordered and a well-mannered man. But you haven't said, what do you do with the Takai there between Oncordes and Epicthes? Uda Oncordes Takai Epicthes.
Yeah, we have to translate it by or, but nor
Okay.
is he this and that, like puffed
Yeah.
up and oppressive, or however you yeah. It
Right.
makes you something that makes you angry. So we would say offensive, like as you said.
And then you get your third thing. Epeta tuton euthrepsin kai epideusin hos doke ethanion to plethe. Next, now ethrepsin and epideusin are just third singular aorists of threpo and piduo. Next, he's brought up and educated this fellow well. Hos doke for plethe ethanion, as it seems to the majority of the Athenians.
As opposed to the minority Socrates.
Hyrun Taigun auton epitas megistas archas. For they choose. It's the Hyruntai is the verb. It's the third person plural present middle indicative. Hyreamai.
Yeah, so just to linger on that for 1 second. So
Yep.
hyreo in the active means to take something up, right? And then in the middle, hyreamai, it means you take it for yourself. So you prefer it or select it. And that's got that strong middle aspect to it. And so this is like they elect him or they choose him. Yeah.
For the epitas megistas archas, for the greatest or the highest leadership or officers, archas.
Yeah, there's actually some of the titles of officers were called archon, like the archon Basilius is the one who hears cases of impiety, such as Socrates goes to in the Euthyphro.
Dikaion demeta toiuton zetine arates perididasculus eta asen eta me kai hoitenes. I think there's an estin missing in here. Dikaion de estin. Certainly it is right, it is just, zetine meta toiuton, to inquire with just such people, arates perididasculus, concerning virtue. Now, I wasn't sure how to deal with didascalus in the accusative. Eta ace and eta me, whether they are or are not kai hutenes, and who they might be, whoever they might be. But is it perididascalus about teachers, arates of virtue?
Actually, so normally peri is accented like this, peri. And if it's going to be the word before, the accent shifts back to the first vowel, and that's regular. So if it's para, and if it's para, then it's referring to the word before. Because normally in Greek, the preposition will refer to govern the word after it. But here it doesn't, and I've lost my place. So there, yeah. So arates peri, so it's about virtue, right? So what he's saying is, it's just to seek teachers in the area of virtue, concerning virtue.
Okay.
With such people, as I've just described, admired by the Athenians, whether there are such teachers and who they are. Yeah. And again, as you say, like we need the estin for dikaion. So when it's one of these neuter, adjectives, or like anankaion, kalon, dikaion, you need to read in the esti. So it is just to seek with such people, blah blah blah.
Suun hemin o anuta, sus de teson, emoitakai to sautu xeno menoni toda, peritutu to pragmatos, tenes an didaskaloi. So the main verb is sunze teson, which is your aorist imperative of sun zetio. You therefore, Anitas, join in seeking with us. Emoi takai, with me, both with me and for sautu xeno menoni, your guest, Meno, here, daughter. Peritutu to pragmatos, about this matter. Sorry, no. It's tenes ane and didaskaloi, who would be teachers concerning this matter. So the peritutu to pragmatos qualifies didaskaloi, I think. Not sunzeteson, is that right?
Yes, that's right.
Who
Yeah.
might be the teachers concerning this matter?
And you can see how that expands that phrase before, like the advertes peri, didaskalus, the teachers concerning virtue. And now we have the teachers concerning this matter.
Yep.
Yeah.
Horta de skepsi. Look at it in this way, and that's your aorist middle imperative. Skepsi. Look at it in this way. A buloimatha menonatonda agathon hiatron genesthai paratinas an auton pempoimen didaskalus. The main verb is an pempoimen, and the condition, the verb is a beloimatha. So you've got a with an optative and an with an optative.
Yeah.
A beloimatha, if we were to wish Meno here to become a good doctor, a good physician, agathon hiatron, paratinas didaskalus, to which teachers an pepoimen auton would we send him?
Yep. And you divided up well those words, because when you come to Greek at first, like menona, tonde, agathon, iatron, you got 4 words, all masculine accusative singular. But it's clearer when you get the sense of like tonde, it's Meno here, this Meno here, and then to become a good doctor. Yeah. If we were to wish Meno here to become a good doctor, to what teachers will we send him? And so, that's technically called the future less vivid condition, a plus optative plus an.
And then a question, aru paratus hiatrus, and I guess there's a verb like pempoimen in there. Wouldn't we send him to the physicians?
Right.
Anutos panuga, certainly. Tida a sculptotomon agathon buloimatha genesthai, aru paratus sculptotomus. Now I discovered that a sculptotomon is literally a leather cutter, but it's a bootmaker, a cobbler. Tida a buloimatha, auton understood, genesthai sculptotomon agathon. And if we were to wish him to become a good cobbler, Aru paratus scriptotomos, and again, you've got to understand a verb like send. Wouldn't we send him to cobblers? Aru expecting the answer yes in a question. Anutos, yes. Kai tala hutos, and in regard to other things in the same way. Panugu, yes. And then this gets a bit, I wasn't sure whether I was getting this right. Hordade moi palin peri ton auton aper. Now the verb's aper, the imperative of apon, tell me again, peritone, outone, about the same things, order in this way.
Yeah, that's exactly right. So he's saying, that's the imperative, tell me, ape moi. And on the one hand, he's saying again, so once more. And then he's saying horde as follows, about the same things. So, which means
He's
not
reformulating the proposition in slightly different words. That's what
yes.
I thought. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, that's right. Right.
Okay, let's see if I can do that. Paratus hiatrus farmen pimpontes tonda palos an epimpamen ulomenoi hiatron genesthai. So the main verb is an epimpamen, and we've got two participles agreeing with the subject we, pimpontes and bulomenoi, and the farman is a sort of just aside. We say pimpontes paratus hiatrus, if we send him understood to the physicians, epimpamen tondakelos, we would send this fellow beautifully, rightly. Bulomenoi genes psychiatron, wishing him understood to become a doctor, a physician.
Yeah, let me just expand that very slightly. So if you have a plus imperfect, if this were happening, then this would be the case. But it's not the case. It's contrary to fact condition. And we have the hypothesis, the main clause, as an epimpamen, then we would be sending him beautifully. And it's modified when there's two proteses, pempontes and bulomenai. So if we were sending him to doctors, if we wished him to be a doctor, we would be sending him nobly. So the participle pempontes, the participles have a conditional sense.
Both of them.
I think so.
Yep. Okay. Yeah. Ar hotan tutor legomen, toda legomen, odi paratutus pepontes auton, sophronoimen an, tus anti poi umenus, tetes technes malon, aetus me, kai tus misthon pretomenus, ep autotuto, apophenantos hautus, didascalus tu belomenu ianai to kai mathanai. So, hotan tutor legomen. Whenever we should say this, ara toda legomen. Are we saying this? And then the this is hotty.
Right. So just to linger on that for 1 second. So you see the tutor, whenever we say this, i.e. what just happened, right? What happened before, we are saying tode, this, which is about to happen.
Follows.
Yeah. So that's very frequently the way.
Okay.
Ekainos and hutos refer back, and tode and horde refers forward.
Right. Hoti, well, the verb is sophronoimen, which is optative. Sophronoimen are. We would be sensible. We should be sensible. Pempontes autun, sending him paratutus to well, those people. And then I think we've got a bunch of participles sort of elaborating on tutus. Tus antipoiumenus, the ones laying a claim to, tes technes, the art, the skill, malone tus me, rather than the ones who don't. So you've got a sort of tus antipoiumenus repeated, but not expressed. And then continuing, and tus pratomenus misson, the ones charging a fee, ep autu tuto, for this thing itself, and still accusative masculine participles, plural, apophanantas, presenting hautus themselves, didaskalus as teachers, to belomenu, of someone wishing, ianai to kai methanane, to go and to learn, both to go and to learn.
Yeah, so as you say that this is apposition, so from the in D1, we're saying this, that in sending him, we would be sensible, sound-minded, in sending him to them. And then we have tus antipoiumenus te, right? So that's first, those who claim those who claim the art rather than those who don't. Te kai, and those who take a fee for this very thing. Yeah. Having declared, and so on. Yeah, having declared that they themselves are teachers of, so to boulomenu, so that's the participle which has the sense of the one who wishes, that is anyone who wants to come and learn.
And then another question, aru prostauta blepsantes, kalos an pempoimen. So your verb again is optative pempoimen, present active optative, and it's a question expecting the answer yes. Blepsantes, the aorist participle of blepo, looking towards these things. With this in mind, wouldn't we be sending him understood beautifully, well, nobly?
So you have a good contrast here between Socrates and the people who offer themselves as teachers of virtue, because Socrates precisely claims that he doesn't have the art or knowledge of virtue. The only art he claims is the art of erotics, and he doesn't charge a fee, and he declares that he's not a teacher of anyone. So,
and Anatos says yes, and then
so
Socrates.
do you want to have a break? And
Yep.
You've been ploughing through Platonic Greek here at a great rate. Should we have a break now? And
I'm happy. Yeah.
Can I just quickly ask of antipoiumenus? So I think Michael said those who are claiming. It just strikes me as an odd. It's like anti usually means against or anti something. So how does that work if the first part of that long word is anti or anti?
So
I got the last guy with my cross match.
in the active, it means to do in return. Yeah. And that makes more sense as we can see that to do back. In the middle, it means more to you're involving yourself, so it's the middle voice to contend about something. So you're contending against people about something
Oh,
in the
yeah,
middle.
okay.
In the middle, and
Yeah.
so one of the senses is you lay a claim to knowledge as opposed to that person, or
Oh, okay. Yep. Thank you.
yeah,
And it takes the genitive, doesn't it?
yeah, that's right.
And that's why it's tes technes.
That's right. Yes, that's yeah. That's excellent. So, shall we break for 10 minutes and
Yep, sure.
continue? Thanks. 90D6 was it?
D7. D7.
D7. 90D7. Thanks.
And this was the gnarliest bit for me. Ukun kai peri arlesios kai tunalon ta auta tauta. It's a question without a verb. So accordingly, ukun kai peri arlesios kai tunalon regarding flute playing and the other things. Ta auta tauta. Do these same things apply? Are these same things the case?
Yeah, that's right. Let's read Esti. Yeah, about
Yep.
yeah. So the aulos, like a
The tornalon.
double reeded flute. So yeah, concerning aulos playing and everything else, they are the same things. Yeah, that's good.
Pole anoia esti, vulomenus euletein tina poiesai, paramentus upiscumenus didaxein tain technein, kai misthon pretomenus, me ethelein pempain, aloista tisin pragmata parecain, zetunta mathanain para tuton, we meta pros poiuntine didascali anai, meta est in auton methetes medes tututu pathematos. Ho hemes axiumen manthanine parauton hon an pimpomen. So I think the main verb is esti right at the beginning. And I wasn't sure what to make the subject and what the predicate, but it's easier just working through the Greek to make pole anoia the subject. Pole anoia esti, it is great folly. It is great folly, and then a very long predicate. Bulomenus auleten tina poiesai, someone wishing, those wishing to make someone a flute player. Me ethylene pempain, not to be willing to send. On the one hand, men, him understood. Paratus upiscumenus didaxein technein, to those promising to teach the skill, kai pretomenus miston, and charging a fee. But on the other hand, parecain pragmata aloistisin. Now, apparently, parecain pragmata is idiomatic for causing trouble, to be a nuisance, to make work, to provide work, to cause trouble, aloistisin, for some other people. And according to commentators, the phrase zetunta mathanine paratutone is hard to fit in syntactically. It's bracketed by commas in Stedman, but I was inclined to make it the subject of parekane. But on the other hand, for the person seeking to learn from these people, to cause trouble for some other people, which of course doesn't quite make sense.
It's difficult, and if you look at the apparatus criticus in Burnett's text, the text we have, he's got E4 is der Tunter to two-tone has been bracketed by neighbor. So people have obviously struggled with it. I think the difficulty in taking it that way is in taking it to be the subject of parekane, which makes sense though. That's attractive because it makes sense of the connection. Is that I just expect boulomenus in E1. So that's those wishing to make someone poiesai. So we have an infinitive. Not to be willing to send the student to those who'll promise, etc. Okay, so those wishing to make someone Alice player.
Not willing to send, but to make trouble for
Yeah,
some
but
people.
yeah, so I kind of expect that it'll be the same subject of parekane. But if it was a change in subject, but rather that a student provide troubles to other people in seeking to learn from them, those who blah blah blah.
Yeah, and the antecedent of hoi is the alloys tissin. The other people who meta prospoiuntai didaskaloi ani, neither hold themselves out as teachers, meta estin methetes medis auton to methematos. Neither is there double negative any pupil of theirs of this subject to methematos.
Yeah, and here this is the one simple thing about the negatives, and I've started writing a sheet. Haven't got there yet, but so if you have an u or a mare, it's reinforced by a compound ude, or what do we have here? Merdes.
Metamedes, yeah.
So whereas we say who neither pretend to be teachers, nor is there, we say any student of theirs, but in Greek it's merdes, not no one. There's not no student of theirs. But yeah, the compound merdes or merde reinforces the simple negative mer.
So neither is there any pupil of theirs of this subject. And then I think the last relative clause refers to methematos, subject ho hamos axiomen, which we think worthy, we think proper, honan pempomen, the person we would send, manthanain parauton, to learn from them. So you've got sort of three cascading relatives. Hoi prospoiuntoi, ho axiomen, hon pempomen. And pempomen is subjunctive, present active subjunctive, first person plural.
Yeah, so the first two, as you say, the hoi merte prospoiuntoi, that does refer back to the tissi, but it's also, isn't that the two-tone just before it? So from them, from those who neither pretend to be teachers.
Oh, yeah. Yep. Okay. Yep.
So we have the antecedent just before the relative, which is helpful. And then in the case of the, as you say, the mathematos of that subject of learning, which we expect, and then there's a missing teuton, right? We expect this person to learn from them, this person, whoever it is we send. So it would be, if we had it there, it'd be teuton on, whomever we send, this person, whomever it is we send.
So the relative with the subjunctive makes it indefinite, doesn't it? Whoever.
That's right.
Whoever
That's
sent
right.
it. Okay.
Yeah.
Upolo sui doke alogioi enoi. Does it not seem to you a great absurdity?
And that's an interesting coordination, alogia, so without logos, without, an articulate
reason.
rationale, without, and then at E1, anoia, so without mind.
And then we've got a third one from Anatos. Naima dia emoiga kai amathea kapros. Yes, by the gods, to me, it's, I think, and folly. Amathea. Pros, sort of adverbial as well, in addition.
That's exactly right. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's being used adverbially to mean in addition. That's right. Yeah.
And that's me.
Great. It's very, very good.
Oh, I had 3 weeks.
Yeah. You still deserve at least a small bottle of champagne. Yeah,
I'll
that was
pass.
excellent. Okay. Now, am I doing this one? I think I'm doing this one.
No, I'm doing it.
All right. So E8, I think. No. Oh, sorry, E10. Yeah.
Kalos leges, you speak beautifully. Nun toinon existai se met emu koine uleustai peri tu zenu tuti menonos. And now it's possible, existi, which is the present singular of stemi, with the infinitive buliustai, to consult for you, sir, to consult metemu with me in common, koine, about peri tu zenu tuti menonos, about this stranger, this very one, Meno.
Guest friend, we could say, though. Stranger is
Okay.
correct. Xenos is a stranger, but just because he's got this guest friend relationship with Anutis, he's staying at Anutis's house. Yeah.
Hutaska o anute palai pros me hoti epithume tautes tis Sophias kai arates he hoi anthropoi tas te oikias kai tas poles kalos diokusi. For this, Anutus, he has been saying lege for a long time, Pele, about me. Oh, sorry, to me, prosme. He's been saying this to me for a long time. That epithume he desires tautes tes Sophias kai arates. So he desires the things that are wise and virtuous.
This,
Hair.
yeah. But just singular, yeah? So this wisdom. Yeah.
Oh yeah, this wisdom and this virtue, by which hoi anthropoi tas de ocias kai tas poles kalos diocusi, by which the humans manage diocusi, the households and the cities beautifully. And kai tus geneas, tus auton, therapesusi, and they serve, so the humans serve their parents, tus geneas, their parents, the ones of them, and they know, I'll read the Greek. Kai politas kai zenus hypodexestai kai pempsai stantai, sorry, akios andros agathu. So, and epistantai, they know the citizens and the guest friends receive the infinitive, hypodexestai, and they, another infinitive, apopempsai, they send away.
So yeah, connect epistantai with the infinitives. Yeah?
Well, they know how to
Yeah,
receive
that's it. That's right.
and to send away the guest friends and the citizens, axios andros agathu, in a way that's worthy of good men.
A good man.
A
Just
good man.
singular. Yeah.
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 Yeah. That's good. Anyone have any questions?
Would you translate Xenus as foreigners now, in apposition or in contrast to politas, rather than guest friends?
I here have it still guest friends, just because if you're
Right.
receiving them and sending them away in the appropriate manner, I think that's, with the appropriate hospitality and the appropriate gift upon departure, that kind of thing. Yeah, it is difficult because the word's entirely ambiguous between this particular technical sense of a guest friend and a foreigner.
That's me.
Great, thank you. Actually, I think Martin Leckie was next, so I'll read for a bit. So, Tautan untan arutan scope paratinas anpepontes auton orthos pempoimen. So, Tautan, I'm just going to take Tautan 10 out of 10 as an accusative respect for the moment. In respect of this virtue, scope, imperative from scopeo, examine paratinas, to whom, by the side of whom, in sending him, if we sent him, pepontes, participle, we would send him correctly. Derlon, der kata ton arti logon, hoti, paratutus, tus hypisk numenus, arates didascalus enai, kai apophenantas haltus koinus ton helenon torbulomenor manthanein. Now I'll stop there for a second. So, or delon. So is it clear? So we have to add an esti. Or is it clear? In fact, der, emphasis, according to the present argument, or the argument that was just given, arti, just now, the just now argument, that to those who promise that they are teachers of virtues and who have declared that they themselves what are they sharing in? Koinus. In common to all the Greeks. Okay. Okay. So they're their teachers and declare themselves to be in common for all the Greeks, for anyone who wishes to learn. So it must be teachers in common for all the Greeks. For anyone who wants to learn. And I'll come back to that because that's awkward. Misthon tutu taxamenus tek kai pratomenus. So having set a fee, so tassor is to set the ranks in order in an army. Tatamai in the middle is to prescribe something. So they set a misthon, a fee, for this. So the two twos, that's the genitive of the like amount of value, right? So they set a fee for this, and pratamai is to exact the fee. So they set the fee and then they take the fee for this. Now, just coming back to the sentence. So according to the Logos just now, would we not send them to those who promise that they are teachers and declare that they themselves are, teachers in common? Right. Does anyone have their Stedman open? I'm going to have a quick look at Block 91B3.
I've got the Loeb translation, if that's any help.
What does that say?
So it goes to, or is it clear enough from our argument just now that he should go to these men who profess to be teachers of virtue and advertise themselves as the common teachers of the Greeks?
Okay.
And are ready to instruct anyone who chooses in return for fees charged on a fixed scale.
Yeah, so Bluck says for koinos open, readily available. He hasn't specified that it's
Sort of adverbially, they advertise themselves openly.
right, but
Sharp
just
puts the tone Helenon with the torbilomeno to someone of the Greeks wishing to learn.
So what does he do with koinus?
Publicly. Advertising
okay.
is publicly available for any of the Greeks who want to learn and have to charge a fee for this.
Yeah, that's interesting. It's just interesting for koinus. So they're asserting that they themselves, and then we have to repeat something like teachers. They are common teachers. And then, but for any one of the Greeks, that makes sense. Of course, in terms of the argument, it makes a great deal of difficulty because political things are individual, not supra national.
It's a contrast to the koine buluesthai earlier, isn't it? It's the same word in 91A, koine buluesthai to Zenu.
That's take counsel, right?
No, but the koine just before it.
Oh yeah, in common with me.
Yeah.
So that's much more regular. So what's being shared here? This is why I was thinking like common teachers of the Greek declare that they themselves are common teachers of the Greeks. But it makes good sense though to say for anyone who wishes amongst the Greeks. And so therefore,
Wouldn't the word public do? Or the public teachers?
yeah, that works well. Yeah, let's say that they themselves are public teachers for anyone who wishes of the Greeks to learn. Yeah,
Why does he harp
but
on
that's just
about?
it's a very odd thing to say. I mean,
Yeah.
we think of it because we have universities that can take students from anywhere in the world, but that's radically unusual historically. Yeah, sorry, Mike.
Why does he harp on about them charging a fee?
Because that means their teaching is dependent upon what their students want.
Right.
Compare and contrast the modern university. long discussion there. So Anudis says kai tinas leges tutus, or
I think that's my section beginning.
Oh, sorry. Please, Andrew. Thanks.
Kaitinas, leges, tutus, or Socrates. Tinas is accusative, meaning whom. Leges is present active verb, meaning you say. And tutus is a plural accusative, meaning these. Now, I take these as standing for these comments, what Socrates was just saying about the teachers. So I translate that as, and you are saying these comments about whom, Socrates?
Actually, the tutus, because you know how we've got the alternative of tauta in the neuter and tutus in the masculine. So if it's the masculine, we should be inclined to think of people. So who do you say tutus ani? These are. Who do you say they are?
Okay, right.
Yeah, but if it had been tauta, yeah, tauta would be things. Yeah.
No, I get it. Yeah, cool. Right. Yeah. And who do you say these are, Socrates? Oyster depu kai suoti hutoi esin hus hoi anthropoi kalusi sophistas. So oyster is a second person singular of oida, I know, so that means you know, second person singular. Depu means surely, hoti means that. Hutoi is a demonstrative pronoun, it's a nominator plural, meaning these or these ones. Hus is a relative pronoun, a plural accusative, meaning who or which or what. Kalusi is a present active plural verb, meaning they called. And sophistus is sophist. So because hutoi is just these or these ones, I put teachers in there, so I call it these teachers, because I thought that it called to needed something added. So I translate that as, but surely you know that these teachers are those who people call sophists.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. Yeah, they are those whom people call sophists. And the kai su, it's the kai is adverbial, and you know also, but it's almost like even you know, or you too know that. Yeah, it's just because Anudis, if you want a glimpse of Plato's fairness in he praises him elsewhere for his relative moderation. When the democracy returned, he stopped. They didn't treat the oligarchs the way the oligarchs had treated the Democrats. Seized their property, killed them. So Anudis was, yeah, Plato recognizes but he's a political man, and he therefore despises the sophists. But Socrates is introducing them here. Even you know that there are these men who people call sophists. And he's about to swear. So sorry, yeah, go on.
And Anitus says, Heracles eupheme or Socrates. So Heracles, I'm taking it to be a third declension dative, but it doesn't end in A, it ends with a sigma. So is that just phonetically, because of the following epsilon, or?
Actually, so because it's the first word, this is disguised, but Heracles is Heracles. Right.
Yeah, it's Hercules. Yeah, I know it's Hercules, but it's
Oh,
just
yeah.
shouldn't it be
Yeah.
dative? Shouldn't it be? Is that a dative case?
No, it's
Use
just
the verb of
it's a.
exclamation.
I thought it was just the vocative, actually, just like Heracles, or the nominative, just Heracles, exclamation mark.
I thought I translated it by Hercules because I thought that it was, when you say by Zeus or heavens
Yeah,
above or that kind of thing, by
exact.
Hercules.
Yeah, that's good.
I translated it as a dative, but it had a sigma at the end, so I thought, is it really a dative? So
Yeah, it's not a dative in case. It's I think it's the vocative. It's just an exclamation because we don't have a vocative really in English. Yeah, so it's just Hercules. By Hercules is a good way of translating that.
eupheme is a singular imperative from eupheme, and the epsilon ending got added to the epsilon of the ending of the verb, and that became a diphthong. So that means hold your tongue or be quiet. So I translate that as by Hercules, hold your tongue, Socrates.
Yeah, yeah, because he's disgusted by just the mention of these people. So, I mean, femi to speak, and au is well. So speak well, but it has this meaning of speak not piously, but speak decorously, speak moderately, speak. Yeah.
We must get euphemism from it.
Yes, that's right. Euphemism.
Medena ton ge emon, mete orkeon, mete philon, mete aston, mete xenon, toi alter, mania laboi. Medena is no one or nothing. Meta is neither nor. Orkeon is a relative. I presume that come from the word for house, orkeo? Is that like a member of the household or something? Or
Right, right. It is the adjective associated with oikia or oikos, but it has this extended sense of one's own, and one of those extended senses is relative.
would it have to be someone in your household, or could be a distant cousin overseas, or could it be anyone? Or
Yeah, it could be someone. It doesn't have to be in the household, although they usually would be because they had extended families in the household. Yeah.
philon is friend, and emon is a plural genitive first person possessive adjective of mine, meaning mine. Aston is citizen, Xenon is foreigner, Mania is madness, Toi alter is this sort, Laboi is the present optative active third person singular, meaning might seize or might take hold of. Now, because Medena is no one, it would be like I started at the end to Toyota Mania Laboi. To seize this sort of madness or to take hold of this sort of madness. No one, then it'd go back to no one, and then it'd be neither friend, neither relative nor friend. So I think the negative would disappear from no one, that would become anyone, and then it'd be not anyone, and then it'd be not any relative. So my translation went on, may this sort of madness not take hold of any relative or friend of mine, neither fellow citizen nor foreigner.
Yeah, that's right. And so the optative has two uses in a main clause. One is potential optative, which it has un. And that's it could be or it would be, or there's no un and it's a wish. And then it usually has agar or ather, which it doesn't here. But this is a wish. This is the optative of wish with no un. Right? So yeah, exactly as you say, such a such madness, may it not take hold of any of my, etc., etc. Yeah.
Hoste para tutus elthonta labe thenai. So hosta is so that. Para tutus, I thought that meant concerning these, so that's how I translated it. Elthonta, I think that's an aorist participle of erkomai, meaning I come or I go. So I translated it as coming. Lo bethenai is an aorist passive infinitive from lo baomai, I ruin or I mistreat. So I translate it as to be ruined. So finding out what, so this would be the madness that doesn't hold the relatives, so that they come to be ruined with regard to these sophists. Maybe I should read the whole sentence because then it makes it. May this sort of madness not take hold of any relative or friend of mine, neither fellow citizen nor foreigner, so that they come to be ruined with regard to these sophists. I threw the word sophist in there.
Yeah, so that's who it's referring to. That's helpful. So yeah, so Horster, typical subordinate conjunction, meaning this is a result clause. And here it's, you might, to over translate it, it would be, may such madness take hold of none of blah blah blah, with the result that, so this is the result that's not happening, right? But it could happen if such a madness did take hold of one of his relatives, with the result that elthonta, so that is the second aorist. So we have, as you say, erkomai, I come or go. Second aorist, elthon, I came or went. And then in the we've got it in the participle, which is elthonta. And so that's the accusative masculine singular, with the result that having gone to them, that person is maimed. Yeah. Yes. So the aorist participle often has this sense of aspect and tense. Like this is what has to happen before the result can occur. And yeah, as here.
Mark,
Okay.
that construction, horsed with the infinitive it's an actual result, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
An
So
actual result,
yeah,
not a
which is not happening, but which could
Yeah,
happen if
yeah.
this madness took hold, with the result that they're maimed. Yeah.
And so if there's a subject, it's got to be in the accusative, elthonta.
That's right. That's right.
The normal infinitive rules apply. That's what I'm getting at.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
like I prin with an infinitive, you'd have an accusative subject of the infinitive.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
Right.
normal
Thanks.
to have that. If it's the same subject, if the subject of the infinitive is the same as the subject of the main clause,
That won't be
it'll
mentioned.
it won't be mentioned, or it'll be in the nominative. Like it might be altos.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
Okay, then the very last clause, epe hutoi ge phanera esti lober te kai diaphthora ton sungig nomenon. So epi just means since. Hutoi is a nominative plural of these or those. Phanera is feminine singular, meaning visible, manifest, or evident. Lober means ruin. Diaphthora is corruption. Sungig nomenon is associates. So I translate that as, since it is evident that these people are the ruin and corruption of their associates.
Yeah, that's all correct. I just take one word differently. So since hutoi, since these men, esti, are, and then this is not going to agree in number and in gender. So these men, hutoi, are a lawbear, a phanera lawbear. These men are a manifest harm and destruction of those who are with them. So it's, yeah, hutoi esti lobe. These men are a harm, an injury, and a manifest one. So the whanara goes with lobe. But that's difficult for us because our expectation is if we have hutoi, we're going to have asin, third person plural verb. But he's saying that these men collectively are singular, a manifest harm and destruction.
Why?
And
Why is it singular?
well, these people are a plague upon our nation. That sort of thing. Taking something collectively and describing it with a singular.
Yeah, it's actually interesting because that's done also in English now, isn't it? Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. Yeah, but it doesn't follow the rules we've learnt, so it's difficult. But yeah, I think that's how it goes. And diaphora, the verb is diaphorein, and that's what Socrates is accused of in the Apology, of corrupting the youth. Tous neus, diaphorein, tous neus.
Stedman
And
seems to think Phaneron goes with hutoi because he says both verb and adjective have been attracted into the feminine singular of the predicate, lobe. So these men plainly are not a plain harm.
yeah, I don't see why we need to say that because
Yeah,
whanara lobe makes sense. A manifest harm, a manifest injury.
yeah.
Um,
I guess you could read it either way.
well, can you read that sentence again that he said?
Well, in Stedman, he just says on C4, epe dot dot phanero esti, since are clearly, are clear, both verb and adjective have been attracted into the feminine singular of the predicate lobe.
Okay, yeah, so not just the verb, but the adjective as well. Okay, yeah, I'm not sure if we need to do that. Curious. I'll just very quickly have a look at blah, see.
And Sharples translates it that way too. For they clearly do harm to those who associate with them and ruin them.
Yeah, Black mentions the verb, but not the adjective. Sorry, what did Sharples say?
Well, he's a bit free, but for they clearly do outrageous harm to those who associate with them and ruin them.
Yeah, so he seems to take Stedman's view. Okay, so that's a live possibility. Until corrected, I'm going to offer this as an alternative that it's a manifest harm, but we'll see. Thanks very much, Andrew. That's great. Very good. So, should we do a sentence?
There's 3 minutes.
Yep, we'll do one sentence. Shall I read this? Yes.
Yep.
Pors leges or anute. So, literally, how are you speaking, Anutus? More colloquially, what are you saying, Anutus? Hutoi ara monoi ton anti poiou menon ti epistasthai au ergetain tosuton ton alon dia ferusen hoson menon uk or felusen horsper hoi aloi hoti an tis autois parador, alla kai to enantion diaphterusi. What are you saying, Anudis? After all, Adara, so then, after all, these men alone of those who claim, here with the infinitive, ton antipoiumenor, and claiming epistastai, claiming to know at all, to have knowledge of how, and so epistastai takes the infinitive, in this case to benefit. You can see au get tain has au, well, and ergos, so to do a good work for someone, to benefit, to this degree they differ from everyone else. So these men alone, of those who pretend to know how to benefit, differ this much from the rest. So from all of those who claim to know how to benefit someone, these men differ from all the rest by this much, and tosuton is then coordinated with hoson by this much, so much that they not only don't benefit, as do the others, in whatever one gives them. Now, is that giving them a fee? Whatever one gives them. I'll come back to that. It could be giving them a fee. Doesn't matter how much you pay them, they don't benefit. But rather, Allah, they even, kai, adverbial, they even on the contrary, they corrupt, as opposed to benefiting. So I guess hoti an tis autois. So parador is the third person singular second aorist of paradidomi optative. Whatever one gives them. Whatever one. Actually, no, it's the subjunctive. Whatever one gives them. Yeah. There we go. 9 o'clock, we're at 91D, which means we did 2 Stephanus pages, which is currently, that's Olympic record pace. So that means, yeah, we have a good chance of getting through. So at the moment, at D1, so yeah, Chris, you're taking over in a line, and then I'll send out some more lines, and this time I'll actually look at them before I send them out. So hopefully they have some relation to the actual world. Yeah. Okay, thanks very much. And thanks, Michael, for that extended bit of work. It was very good. And yeah, everyone did very good work. I'm actually, full of admiration every week. For people who've done this much Greek, we're doing, all of us doing really well. So it's very good.
Thanks, Martin.
Thanks.
Thank you.
See you soon.
Next week. Thank you.